All right, all right. One thing I always tell people when I speak is this: I came from Taylor, Michigan. My parents were never married. My mom worked 3 jobs. My dad was a carpet layer. Then my stepmom worked at the phone company. We didn't have a ton of money. We weren't rich. We didn't have all the resources in the world. I didn't have all the connections in the world. But here's the deal: today, and I tell people this all the time, I'm standing next to people whose parents lived in nice communities, gated communities, happily married, lots of money, lots of connections, right? And we're standing next to each other, and sometimes I've accomplished more than them, and other people have accomplished more than me. I'm not competing with them. The point is, we're standing shoulder to shoulder for one reason. For one reason. It's not your environment. It's you. It's not your environment. It's you. It's you. It's you. Your success, that's you. Your failure or lack of trying, that's you. It's not about the resources, right? Like Tony Robbins says, it's not about the resources that we have, it's how resourceful we are. So it's you, it comes down to you. I mean, literally, it comes down to you. Or how else can somebody that came from absolutely nothing, right in the middle of the slums, no money, parents did nothing, that's not me, I'm saying somebody else out there. Parents maybe dad was never around, parents were not there was no money, government assistance, and now they're successful, extremely successful beyond belief. And then how can somebody from a gated community, dad has everything, right, not be successful without somebody giving them things? Like maybe dad, mom give them money. Maybe that's not success. That's somebody giving you things. It was because they were entitled, and the other person had to learn to be resourceful. Right? Right? I never wanted for anything. I wasn't like I didn't have clothes to wear to school. I always had the needs. But as I grew up and I wanted to do different things, I couldn't call my dad and say, "Hey, can you hook up this contact for me?" It wasn't there. So I had to learn to talk to people. I had to learn to forge relationships. I had to learn to add value to their life, before I could then ask for anything. So I had to add value to their life and help them, and then maybe eventually I could ask for something from them. That's being resourceful. I didn't have a dad or a mom that just could say, "Hey, go to this, go here, talk to this guy, hook you up." No, I had to forge those relationships on my own. There was no entitlement. I was never entitled. I never felt like somebody owed me something. I felt like I was always competing. I was the youngest of my brothers, my sisters, my cousins. So I was always competing for attention, always competing for the last roll at dinner, always competing for whatever, time, for my parent, whatever it might have been, I was always competing. Right? Always competing. Always competing. So I learned how to win. And I learned how to compete, and I learned how to forge relationships with people, like meaningful relationships with people that were mutually beneficial. And the entitled person doesn't do that. The entitled person says, "You owe me this. Hey, give me this. Hey, I want you this for me. Hey, I need that." Well, it isn't what you need. It doesn't matter what you need. It matters how resourceful you are, how much value you can add to somebody's life, how much you can give to them. Because if you give to people, they'll want to give back to you. But if you take, and take, right, and you only make withdrawals, no deposits, you might get help once or twice, but then people will say, "Oh, here comes so-and-so," and they run the other way. They don't want to see you anymore. So what I'm saying to you is, it's not your environment, it's you. It's you. So whether you came from a family with everything, you came from a family with nothing, or you came from in between someplace, it's still about you. It's about you being resourceful. Your parents' connections can only go so far. Eventually you're going to have to perform. You might get a job because of somebody. That doesn't mean you're going to keep it or advance in that job. You might start a business. You might get a loan because somebody gave you money for something. Doesn't mean you're going to keep that money or make that money make money for you if you're not resourceful. Story of resourcefulness. I don't know how to do. I can't build a website. I don't have $10,000 to pay somebody. So what do? I team up in a business with a web designer, with somebody who can help do that part. That's resourceful. Hey, I don't have the money, mutual beneficial relationship. You can, instead of maybe getting X amount of dollars to a website, this thing turns into something, and you could get hundreds and thousands of millions of dollars. I don't know. We're going to build it and see what happens with it. We're going into it like it's guaranteed to be successful, like I always do. But again, this would never start if I didn't forge a relationship, if I wasn't resourceful enough to ask, and that's the biggest thing, ask. But if I didn't have a relationship prior, due to adding value, due to helping, and then say, hey, I can give you this, if you give me that, we work together as a team, and we can both prosper. Imagine that. Imagine that. So it's not always about winning over, beating somebody, getting over on somebody. It's never about that. You can only get over on somebody so many times before the word gets out, that's how you are, and then nobody works with you. But if somebody says, whoa, no, hey, here comes Sam, work with Sam because he's going to give you a fair deal. Like, he's going to give you value for the value you give him. He's going to make an even trade, a win-win. A win-win with you. There's nothing, like he's holding back from you or he's hiding. It's going to be a win-win, open and shut. So build relationships, forge relationships, give, add value. And here's the thing. Add what they perceive as value. And we'll talk about that more, but add value to somebody's life. Give. Ask what's important to them. And then be resourceful. Build connections. Nobody owes you anything. Remember, you deserve what you want. You get what you earn. And you earn trust by helping. Give away what you want. If you want kindness to come back to you, give it away. If you want money, right? It takes money to make money. Think about it. If you want money to come back to you, sometimes you got to give it away first. But if you don't have the money to give away, be resourceful. Give away ownership in the company for future compensation. Maybe they take it, maybe they don't. But it's a win-win if they do. So remember, be resourceful, be respectful, and add value to somebody's life.